Okay, in this video, well, this bullshit that's going on over this shooting. Now, I agree that the guy should have never did what he did, and yes, he probably has a few problems, but I've seen enough now to understand where this is going. This is not only about grabbing your guns, this is also about calling anybody a nut by one look. That's right, you can look at somebody now and know they're a nut. With one look, that's right, you don't even got to know them. All you got to do is look at them in the face. When you see their face, they're a nut, right? Yeah, this is about the news reports talking about people that are alone, that's right. Because maybe they've been ridiculed, made fun of, maybe they didn't groupthink, maybe they wasn't one of the sheep. They didn't fit into the flock of sheep, they didn't have sheep mentality. They actually had critical thinking skills, so you shove them out of life, isn't that right? Oh, that's right, wasn't rich enough, wasn't this, wasn't that, wasn't this, shoved them out of life, treated them like dirt, stereotyped them out, pushed them out. Did you ever stop to think about that's probably what this guy's life was like? Okay, and let me tell you something else. You complain about what he did, and they said he was shooting at the world, okay, and they'll say this guy don't like the news, he don't like TV, he don't watch TV. Well, guess what? There's a whole bunch of people that has caught mainstream media and the news on television and lie after lie after lie after lie, because the government does pay the media to lie to you, because the government does pay them to lie because they don't want us knowing the truth. And that part is no lie, it's 100% fact. The problem is you want to label people, okay? You want to say, well, he should have never been sold a gun, but yet he had no criminal record, so if you're not a nutcase and you walk in and buy a gun, you got no criminal record, maybe we should look at you, one look in your face, and we'll decide for you that you're a fucking nut, okay? Why? Well, because I looked at you, and if I looked at you and said you're a nut, you're a nut. Because that's what you idiots are doing. And that's no lie, that's what you people are doing. That's how sick this fucking world is. You think you can look at somebody and judge them in 1 to 5 seconds. That's right. What do you think happens in the dating scene? How come you think there's so many people pushed out of our life? Because of 1 to 5 seconds, or because they didn't act like a sheep and go, bah, bah, my government will protect me, bah. Because that's what that comes down to. But anyhow, so what I'm seeing here is I'm seeing them now aiming at our guns, aiming at our weapons, and aiming at people who speak out against the government. That's right. Aiming at people who tell the truth. That's right. That's what they're going to be aiming at. And, of course, they're aiming at people that were pushed out and stereotyped out. So that means if you're a loner, that automatically makes you a psychopath, a killer. That's right. That means if you're a loner, you don't have nobody in your life because society pushed you out, that makes you a psychopath, a killer, right? Well, at least that's what they're trying to suggest in this report, and that's where they're going to be going with this. But that's how sick we are, isn't it? That we think we can actually look at somebody and judge them just like that. And that only says one thing, how sick people really are. You know what's saddened to me the most? What saddens me the most is that in this world, you can judge things at one look. You don't have to know anything about a topic, and you open your big mouth and give your opinion, not knowing the first thing you're fucking talking about. You won't do any research or looking into it. How hard is it to read a fucking news story, and even if it's not aired on TV, you think, oh, this is nuts, they ain't doing that. Well, how hard is it to read it and not make no opinions to nobody, keep your mouth shut and sit back for a year, year and a half and see if it happens? And why did I say so long? Because this stuff was planned way in advance. That's no lie. I made reports and shows fucking told people fucking a year and a half before the jobs fucking really got a major impact in this country and hit us hard that it was going to happen. All of you people blew me off, called me a nut, and a year and a half later it happened. That's the part that's sad. Whether if you believe something or not, the least you could do for your own self is take the time to look a little bit and sit back when you don't believe it and do some reading and watching it and sit back and actually see if it materializes within a year, year and a half. If it don't materialize, then fucking post a video up and call it for what it is. But if it happens, then maybe you better sit back and look some more, huh? And see what people are really talking about. Oh, never mind, you ain't got time for that. You just got to open your big mouth and stick your big foot in your mouth, right? Well, that's all right, because they're going to use this to come after guns. They're going to use this to come after people who speak the truth. They're going to use this to come after anybody that's alone, that's been pushed out of life so that they can get their population reduction and prosecute an innocent person for nothing. The same as the fucking reporter who said that the gun store should have been blah, 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 and that Walmart's selling them bullets, blah, 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 that Everybody should have known he was a psychopath at one look, you know. No, that's bullshit. That's like I said. You know, it's your mentality is the equivalence of somebody who went to school for college, got their degree, went on into their field, worked their field for 25 years, and then some bozo the clown like you walks in when they're in the middle of their trade and starts telling them all about their trade and telling them how they're wrong and how they're nuts. And then we ask, where did you go to school at? Well, I haven't done school. Did you do any research on that trade he's doing? Well, no. But then what are you shooting your big mouth off for, dummies? Because, you know, that's what you're really doing. Do you realize that's what you people are fucking calling people fucking like myself? That's what you're really doing? And you know who the one is stupid when you do that? The one opening their big mouth. If you ain't got fucking a little bit of bitty time out of your fucking schedule to fucking take a look at something and sit back and base no opinion and wait and watch and see if it really happens, that's all it would take. But you're too fucking lazy for that, ain't you? You just gotta fucking run that mouth, don't you? Anyhow, watch this news report. That's where we're headed, people. And of course, I don't blame him for not liking TV. Why would he like TV? All you do is get propaganda brainwashed. Oh, that's right. You all love being a sheep. You love being lied to. Because we're in a world where everybody wants to lie, ain't that right? Lying is normal. And then when they do something bad to you, you complain about, well, but they said. No, it's a lie. Remember, that's what you like. You don't get truth because you don't want truth. Think about it. Leave your comments and opinions. Watch this news report. The next video, you have a good one.
Under Arizona law, any of his classmates or his teachers could have made a call to mental health authorities and asked for an evaluation. But that call never came, despite the fact that many were indeed worried about his strange behavior. But they never thought it would become this serious. His classmates remembered Jared Loughner's spooky, Joker-like smirk. The most visible signs of trouble were in Ben McGahee's algebra class at Pima Community College, where Loughner wrote Mayhem Fest all over his first quiz, and often blurted out random numbers and phrases like, "How can you deny math?"
This guy, you know, is not complying, unfortunately, and seems to be quite a threat to our class.
One of Loughner's classmates wrote a panicked email obtained by the New York Times and sent to a friend, saying hopefully he will be out of class very soon and not come back with an automatic weapon. In his poetry class, other students were worried too, and only one classmate tried to befriend him, a fellow outcast with bright pink hair, Stephen Cates.
He would laugh to himself randomly, and sometimes it would be at inappropriate times. Other times it would just be silent writing time, and he would just laugh. And he'd clench his fists a lot.
At one point, Loughner surprised the class when he performed a poem he had written titled Meathead, about a day in his life, thumping his chest and grabbing himself. Quote, "Looking around, the cute women are catching my eye, probably waiting for their hot boyfriends wandering in the locker room." There were danger signs at home, too, where neighbors tell ABC News Loughner and even his family became more and more isolated.
We would be out with other neighbor kids playing in the street, and Jared wouldn't be allowed out. He'd have to sit and watch us from the door.
And he isolated himself, which is common among mass shooters, according to Dr. Michael Loughner, a noted forensic psychologist and ABC News consultant. He says loners carefully hide their intentions as they plan tragedy.
You have a person who's alone and alienated, so he doesn't speak to others. And you have someone who wants to be as destructive as possible.
Hiding the evil brewing behind that Joker-like smirk. And there was one final eerie goodbye as well on the night before the shootings. He phoned a friend and left a voicemail saying goodbye.
Ashley Banfield is live in Tucson. And Ashley, you had a long talk with a young man who may have been Loughner's last close friend.
Yes, and also ABC News has learned from sources that employees in that gun store were very uncomfortable selling that gun to Jared Loughner, but said they felt they had to because his FBI forms had actually cleared. In the meantime, George, we are learning a lot more about Jared Loughner, his home, his family, and his mind.
He wasn't shooting people, he was shooting at the world.
Zach Osler is stunned by the events of the last 5 days. He was Jared Loughner's high school friend and spent a lot of time inside his family's home.
The house itself is kind of shrouded, it's kind of covered up, like cold. Cold, dark, unpleasant. I always felt unwelcome, always. I felt really unwelcome and like I shouldn't be there.
Osler says his friend began to spiral downward after a high school girlfriend broke up with him. He also claims Loughner began abusing alcohol and drugs, specifically a drug called salvia, a natural and legal hallucinogen that he thinks Loughner may have been using while taping this video.
He would say he was using it, and he would talk about it and say like what it would do to him, and I would like be, dude, that's screwed up.
But the memories of the Jared he knew then were in stark contrast to the man staring back at him now.
When you see that picture, does that look like the young man that you knew?
I can't look at that. It scares me. I wish I could have helped it. I just forgot about him, and, you know, just stop talking to each other. And I wish something I could have done or said to help him or try to get him help. I just didn't. So that's why it's hard to look at the picture of him. It looks like a monster.
As for motive in Saturday's attack and the speculation Loughner may have been fueled by partisan politics and rhetoric in the media,
he did not watch TV, he disliked the news, he didn't listen to political radio, he didn't take sides, he wasn't on the left, he wasn't on the right.
Instead, he points to this online documentary series called Zeitgeist as the gas on Loughner's fire. It's a documentary movement that rails on currency-based economics.
I really think that this Zeitgeist documentary had a profound impact upon Jared Loughner's mindset and how he viewed the world that he lives in.
Eventually, Jared's bizarre behavior drove Osler away. That was 2 years ago.
I forgot about Jared. I stopped thinking about this kid because thinking about him wasn't something I wanted to do.
And George, I just want to draw your attention to the scene behind me. It's really remarkable, a makeshift memorial that has been set up outside of University Medical Center. It's grown since the attack on Saturday, of course, in tribute to those here at the hospital who survived and quite likely those who died as well.